My mother is mentally ill. Hello, my name is Julie, and I would like to share my story with you. I grew up as an only child in a loving home. Like many teenagers, getting along with my parents seemed like a constant struggle. However, with time, I started to notice that these problems are not as typical as I thought. It all started 2 years ago, when my mother was struggling with mental health issues that I didn't understand. I remember seeing her sad most of the time. She wouldn't laugh or smile, and on some days she wouldn't even get out of her bed. My mother's struggle with chronic depression started to affect me badly. I was no longer able to depend on her for the support I needed, especially while going through the most challenging phase in my life. I was even more sad to see it was affecting my father. He couldn't handle to see her like this, and it brought him down. Our lives were not normal anymore. We couldn't do the family activities that we used to do, like going on a trip together, visit our friends and relatives, or even have dinner on the same table. By then, my father was taking my mother to counseling to help her get better. They explained to us that it might be a long process before she would go back to her normal self. Even though I was devastated, I decided to be strong and take care of things until my mother gets better. While my father spent most of his day at work, I cleaned the house, did the laundry, got the mail, and more. On top of that, I had to do my homework, cook, and take care of my mother's needs. Despite being in a position where I had too many responsibilities for my age, all I cared for was that my mother gets better. But with time, I started to feel very tired, and my grades suffered. I couldn't stay awake during class, and couldn't even hang out with my friends. I felt so lonely, and there was no one looking out for me. I was tired all the time and emotionally exhausted. Basically, my life was a living nightmare, and I couldn't do anything about it. I felt stuck, and with no one to turn to for help, I lived in constant stress. Until one day when I was at school, my English teacher asked me to stay after class to talk. She explained that I was always an exceptional student, but she was worried about the drastic decline in my school achievements. I burst into tears and began to tell her everything that has been happening. My teacher carefully listened to everything I had to say, which gave me instant relief. I didn't realize how badly I needed to talk to someone until that moment. Luckily, my teacher was able to provide me with some reassurance. She told me that living in a situation where one of the parents suffer from depression is not uncommon at all. In fact, about 1 in 5 children in the U.S. live in a household with parents who suffer from severe depression. I was comforted to know that I was not the only one who struggled with these issues. In fact, it made me feel less lonely. She also assured me that things will get better with time, and that I only need to be patient and strong to get through this. A while after, she signed me up for counseling at school and made sure I go once a week. With time, I started to notice that my stress is slowly fading. And to my surprise, my mother noticed it too. She explained that she understands that the past 2 years were difficult not only for her, but for me as well. She told me that her therapy sessions are starting to help her overcome her depression, and that she appreciates the patience I maintained in this difficult time. Suddenly, hearing this from her for the first time in a long while made me forget all about the past. I was delighted to see her making progress. I felt hopeful, motivated, and excited because I knew things will get better. After a while, I started to notice that my mother is smiling again, getting out of bed, and even cooking for us. Before I knew it, my dad and mom and I were having dinner on the same table, like old times. Going through this experience has taught me a lot about patience. It is never okay to lose hope, and we must stay strong for the ones we love. Even though sometimes it can be very challenging, it is very important to remember that life is worth that challenge.
What do you think of this story? Feel free to share your comments and stories in the comment section below. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel.